There are vehicles on the road with 500,000 miles and barely a rattle. And then there are others that give up before hitting 6 figures. It's not just luck. It's not just a brand. It's discipline. Quiet discipline. The kind of things you do when no one's watching. The habits that seem small, but over years and hundreds of thousands of miles, they define the fate of your car. Some of these habits are so basic, they are almost invisible. Others take a few minutes a month, but together, they create a difference that most drivers will never experience. If you've ever looked at a car odometer ticking past 720,000 miles and wondered how someone managed that, this is how. Today, we're breaking down 13 habits that quietly extended the life of my car far beyond what most people expect is even possible. This isn't theory. This isn't guesswork. This is what worked, over time, over roads, and over miles. Too many drivers unknowingly sabotage their vehicles just by the way they drive every day. Most damage doesn't come from a single incident, but rather from repeated patterns that stress the mechanical systems. The smoother your input, the longer everything lasts. Gentle acceleration allows the engine and transmission to work together efficiently, instead of fighting each other. Braking gradually instead of abruptly gives your rotors and pads the chance to handle heat properly, reducing warping and extending service life. Consistency in how you take turns, how you merge into traffic, and how you treat your vehicle in stop-and-go conditions directly impacts the lifespan of key components. The difference this makes over years of driving is massive, but it's mostly invisible until something breaks. Smoother driving starts before your foot touches the pedal. Reading the road ahead, anticipating changes, and adjusting your speed early avoids unnecessary strain. Lurching forward from a stop might feel quick, but it's brutal on your drivetrain. By the time you reach 100,000 miles, the wear will be obvious, unless you practiced restraint. And stopping? Slamming the brakes not only wears them down faster, but it also strains your suspension and steering systems. That kind of stress adds up. Vehicles are designed to move with rhythm, not to constantly jerk between speeds. Practicing a calm, responsive driving style not only extends vehicle health, it also transforms your driving experience. One of the simplest habits with the biggest impact is monitoring your tire pressure. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it detail. Tires slowly lose air through natural leakage and temperature changes, and when pressure drops, even slightly, tires no longer wear evenly. That's not just a tire problem. It affects handling, puts an uneven load on the suspension, and forces the engine to compensate by working harder. The result? Lower fuel efficiency and increased mechanical strain. This is how minor maintenance neglect snowballs into major repair costs. A tire running at 28 psi instead of the recommended 32 might seem like a small difference, but multiplied over time and distance, it leads to early tire failure and unnecessary fuel costs. And don't rely on the visual appearance of your tires to gauge pressure. Most underinflated tires still look fine to the naked eye. That's why a monthly check with a trusted gauge is essential. Just a few minutes can prevent thousands in wear-related expenses. If your car has a tire pressure monitoring system, don't wait until the light comes on. That alert usually signals a significantly low level, not a slight dip. Proactivity matters more than reactivity when it comes to tire health. Another daily mistake that causes long-term damage is excessive idling. Whether you're waiting in a parking lot, sitting at the curb, or just letting the engine run to cool the interior, the engine is still working. It's still burning fuel, still cycling oil, and still creating heat. But unlike driving, idling does all this with minimal airflow and cooling. That means your engine is heating up without getting the benefit of motion-based cooling, which causes uneven thermal wear. Not to mention, it increases carbon deposits inside the engine and the exhaust system. There's a belief that idling helps warm up the engine or maintain performance, but that's outdated. Modern engines don't need long warm-up periods. If you're going to be stationary for more than a minute, shut it off. This doesn't just save fuel. It reduces the load on everything from your cooling system to your catalytic converter. Even your oil degrades faster when it's constantly cycled through an idling engine that's not performing real work. Multiply that by months or years, and you'll start to feel the impact on performance and reliability. Every driver has more control over their vehicle's long-term health than they realize. It's not about becoming a mechanic or investing in expensive upgrades. It's about refining daily habits. The way you treat your car today determines how much it'll cost you tomorrow. Smooth, respectful driving. Consistent tire maintenance. Eliminating wasteful idling. Small adjustments, big results. Avoiding unnecessary wear on your vehicle starts before you even turn the key. How and where you drive makes a massive difference over time. The first step is smarter route planning. Every trip should be deliberate, not random. Instead of darting out for small errands at different times, it makes a difference to bundle tasks into one efficient loop. The fewer cold starts your engine goes through, the less stress it endures. Short trips where the engine never reaches operating temperature accelerate wear and often go unnoticed until issues surface later. Take a few minutes once a week to look at your week ahead. Use navigation apps not just for directions, but for insight. Traffic data, construction updates, and peak congestion times are all available. Use them to your advantage. If you're heading to a familiar place, there may still be a more efficient time or route to get there. What matters is minimizing the waste of time, fuel, and the health of your engine. There's also the compound effect of avoiding heavily congested roads. Stop-and-go traffic doesn't just waste fuel. It punishes your transmission, strains your cooling system, and chews up your brake pads. Idling in summer heat raises engine temperatures, and frequent braking raises the chance of warped rotors or early brake wear. When you avoid this cycle regularly, you're reducing more long-term stress than most drivers even realize. Once you're on the highway, cruise control becomes a silent asset. It smooths out the rhythm of your drive. With a constant pace, the engine isn't overexerting or bouncing through RPM ranges. This steadiness is gentle on all moving parts. Acceleration and deceleration may feel harmless, but they each come with a cost. Multiply that by every hour spent on the road, and the damage builds faster than you'd expect. Cruise control acts like a metronome, preventing unnecessary shifts, keeping fuel consumption predictable, and minimizing sudden changes that force your engine to adjust. Especially on long drives, This consistency adds up to smoother engine operation and less wear overall. Some newer systems even adapt to traffic flow, which means fewer abrupt stops when vehicles ahead slow down. The car does the thinking for you, but the result is mechanical harmony. Understanding the way your car shifts is crucial. For those with manual transmissions, this is part of every drive. Knowing when to upshift or downshift without pushing the engine too far in either direction. Waiting too long to shift and redlining regularly stresses internal components and can shorten the life of both the engine and transmission. Shifting too early and making the engine struggle, known as lugging, is just as damaging. It forces the engine to work harder under low RPMs, increasing vibration and wear. For automatic drivers, even though the vehicle handles shifting, awareness still matters. Watch how it behaves under load, during acceleration, and when climbing hills. You can assist the transmission by easing off the gas slightly as the car shifts, or by using lower gears manually when going downhill to reduce strain on brakes. Knowing your vehicle's characteristics, where it shifts, and how it responds can help you drive in a way that complements the machinery instead of working against it. Every vehicle has a specific power band where it operates most efficiently. Staying within this range not only improves fuel economy, but also ensures that the engine and transmission are working within their comfort zone. It's a way of driving that respects the engineering behind the machine. A vehicle doesn't wear out from age alone. It wears out from how it's treated mile after mile. The stress builds from hundreds of small decisions, from every sudden stop, hard launch, or pointless short trip. But with a bit of foresight, the right tools, and attention to how the car feels and behaves, you can add years of life to the drivetrain and avoid costly repairs. The small habits compound. Plan better. Drive smoother. Understand the machine. That's how long-term reliability is built. A clean engine air filter plays a more critical role than most people realize. It's responsible for allowing clean air into the combustion chamber, which directly affects how well the engine runs. When that filter gets clogged with dust, debris, or residue, airflow becomes restricted. The engine then works harder to pull in the air it needs, throwing off the balance between fuel and oxygen. This imbalance doesn't just impact performance, it can lead to higher fuel consumption, more emissions, and accelerated wear on internal components. Inspecting the air filter doesn't require any special skills. Most vehicles are designed so the air filter is accessible in seconds. Even if you drive in clean environments, a regular check every 10,000 to 15,000 miles helps ensure it's not collecting buildup that restricts airflow. In dusty or rural areas, that interval may be shorter. Taking the time to replace a dirty filter not only improves engine performance, but also helps keep sensors and the fuel system operating at their best. It's a small investment that prevents bigger issues from creeping in. Over time, another area that quietly affects performance is the alignment of your wheels. Misalignment might not be obvious at first. The signs often build slowly, a slight drift to one side, uneven tire wear, or subtle changes in how the steering feels. But even before those symptoms show up, A misaligned vehicle is already working harder than it should. Rolling resistance increases, which forces the engine to use more power to move forward. Fuel efficiency takes a hit. Tires degrade faster, and the steering and suspension systems absorb more strain than necessary. Getting alignment checked doesn't require waiting for a problem to appear. It's worth having it inspected at least once a year, or more often if you've been driving on rough roads, through construction zones, or over pothole-laden streets. The smoother your wheels track in unison, the less energy is lost through friction and the more precisely the car responds. That smoothness reduces overall mechanical stress and helps maintain performance over the long run. Another often overlooked factor in long-term vehicle health is excess weight. Many cars carry more than they need to, with items left in the trunk, cargo spaces, or back seats that haven't been used in weeks or months. It might seem harmless, but that additional weight affects how your vehicle drives. More weight means the engine has to work harder to accelerate. Braking distance increases. Suspension components deal with more load, leading to quicker wear. Tires heat up more easily, increasing the risk of uneven wear or blowouts. Every pound carried unnecessarily adds up over time. You might not notice it day to day, but fuel efficiency begins to drop, and the long-term impact touches almost every system. Going through your vehicle and removing what isn't needed is an easy step with noticeable benefits. Lighter cars are more responsive, easier to handle, and place less stress on the drivetrain. Even roof racks and cargo boxes that are left unused can create additional drag and weight. If they're not serving a purpose, it's best to remove them. The cleaner and lighter the setup, the better your vehicle performs under normal conditions. These maintenance habits aren't about perfection. They're about consistency. Paying attention to small details like a clean air filter, proper alignment, and keeping unnecessary weight out of the car creates a ripple effect. Each step reduces the burden on the engine, minimizes wear on moving parts, and leads to fewer surprises at the repair shop. What seems like routine upkeep actually defines the difference between a vehicle that lasts comfortably past 150,000 miles and one that faces repeated issues before reaching that point. Mechanical longevity isn't luck. It's built through attention, care, and understanding the systems at play. Every decision behind the wheel, every neglected component, and every ignored symptom contribute to the life your car will lead. By focusing on these seemingly minor actions, you're building a foundation for smoother drives, fewer repairs, and a longer-lasting engine. Extra components attached to a vehicle can have subtle but significant effects on how it performs. Roof racks and cargo carriers are helpful when they're needed, but they don't belong on the car full-time. Even when empty, they interfere with the flow of air across the vehicle, especially at higher speeds. That interference becomes aerodynamic drag, and drag makes the engine work harder to maintain speed. Over time, this consistent increase in resistance leads to more fuel burned and additional stress on the powertrain. Removing these attachments after use is one of the simplest actions a driver can take to support overall efficiency. Whether it's after a weekend trip or a seasonal activity, Taking a few minutes to detach roof gear pays off immediately. At highway speeds, even a small improvement in aerodynamics translates to measurable fuel savings. The engine operates with less strain, especially during longer drives where resistance has more time to accumulate and impact performance. There's a similar effect when windows are left open during high-speed driving. Around town, the airflow disruption from an open window is minor and usually unnoticeable. But once the vehicle reaches higher speeds, the turbulence created by open or cracked windows increases the load on the engine. The car has to push harder through the air, and that extra work reduces efficiency. It might feel like a cool breeze is helping comfort, but mechanically, it's doing the opposite. In those conditions, using the air conditioning system is the smarter choice. Modern systems are more efficient than many assume, and the energy needed to power them is often far less than what's lost through the aerodynamic drag of open windows. The balance shifts once speeds climb, and using the AC maintains cabin comfort without compromising fuel economy or adding to the engine's workload. Behind all these small changes lies a broader practice that truly shapes how long a vehicle can perform at its best. Following a strict and consistent maintenance routine is the foundation of reliability. It's not glamorous, and it rarely gets attention, but every skipped oil change, every overdue fluid flush, and every ignored inspection is an invitation for deeper problems to develop. Routine oil changes keep internal components lubricated and prevent harmful buildup. Transmission fluid maintains smooth gear changes and protects against costly failures. Coolant prevents overheating and corrosion inside the engine. Brake inspections catch wear before it turns into noise, grinding, or brake fade. And replacing belts and hoses before they fail avoids breakdowns that can lead to further damage or leave you stranded. Keeping up with this schedule requires planning, not guesswork. It's helpful to record each service performed and schedule the next one in advance. Whether it's using a dedicated app, setting calendar reminders, or simply tracking it on paper, the key is staying consistent. Some vehicles have built-in maintenance reminders, but even then, it's important to understand what's being tracked and what might be missed. Waiting for something to go wrong is the most expensive way to maintain a vehicle. Preventative care is always more affordable than repairs. A car that receives attention before issues arise runs more smoothly, stays more fuel efficient, and avoids the gradual wear that leads to major failures down the line. Most high-mileage vehicles that continue running with minimal problems weren't just built. They were cared for regularly. That care shows up in how they start in cold weather, how they respond under load, and how rarely they need unscheduled repairs. A disciplined approach to upkeep ensures that no part of the vehicle is left behind to deteriorate quietly. Every part, from the smallest seal to the main engine components, works better when the surrounding systems are kept in good order. And when something does go wrong, a well-maintained vehicle makes diagnosis and repair easier, faster, and cheaper. It all adds up. Fewer breakdowns, better performance, and more confidence in the machine you drive. There's no magic formula for a car that lasts 720,000 miles. It's not about secret fuel additives or some miracle engine treatment. It's about habits. Small, unglamorous, repeated habits that don't make you a viral video, but keep your car alive year after year. The real trick is consistency. So if you're tired of expensive repairs, tired of replacing cars every few years, or just want to push your vehicle to its full potential, this is how you do it. Not with hacks, not with shortcuts, but with discipline and care. If this helped you rethink how you drive or maintain your vehicle, let us know in the comments. Drop your own tips for keeping a car alive. We're building a community of people who take pride in the long game. And if you found value in this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More practical, real-world advice is coming your way. Drive smart, drive long, and stay safe out there.